Hey, Big Pod.
What?
I installed a new distro yesterday.
Really?
Yes. And it was not Debian.
Really?
Yes. Can you guess what distro I installed?
Arch.
Well, you're
Or,
not wrong. That lasted me all of about 5 minutes.
and then you went to Cento.
No. We installed a Fedora spin.
Really?
Yes. But
Which
not
one?
just any spin. This one is Saracea.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because, you keep telling me that I need to do like this immutable stuff. So I
Yes.
installed it.
So you installed Sway.
Well, of course, because, I've been swayed by everything. I No, like legitimately, like ever since. So, I moved to Sway initially with my Hyperlane transition, because I or not Hyperlane, but my Wayland transition. And the only reason why I ever switched to Wayland to begin with was because at the time Intel Arc was just more functional on Wayland than it was X11, which makes sense because why would you write a driver for X11 anymore?
Yeah.
But anyways, I I that's why I switched to Wayland. And at the time, I just refused to touch desktop environments because I was living that window manager lifestyle. And then I installed Sway because it was what was packaged in like most distros, so I could just use it.
Makes sense.
And since then, I've slowly been converting every single one of my systems to using Sway. Like I even use it on my laptops.
Really?
Yeah,
Perfect usage for something like Syriza.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
Except that,
all you need to do is make your own spin of it.
yeah, we're probably going to be doing that because I forgot that it gets kind of difficult to set up some things like on just the standard Fedora spin that is not provided in the traditional Fedora repositories, which by all aspects that I agree with are kind of lacking when it comes to proprietary options.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, I guess we should start the show, right? Cue that music. Hey guys, welcome to No Tucks Allowed. I'm your host, Josh. And today, we have strong NASA supporter Big Pod with us.
Hello.
You heard that right, NASA supporter.
Yes.
Big Pod's shirt says NASA on it. That's all I can actually read.
Exactly. National Aeronautic and Space Administration.
Yep.
It's the
So,
warm logo.
that's true. So, Big Pod,
What?
I just want to say, this is almost episode 100.
I know, yes.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
A lot of podcasts do something special on episode 100.
I know.
I don't know if we're going to do something special on episode 100 because, I just might not think about it until, like, it's actually episode 100.
Yeah.
So we need to brainstorm or something, or you need to remind me that we're doing something.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a job in production now. Good job, sir. So, in the meantime, though, Google has released a report. Google has released a report. They've noticed something going on over with Gemini. It's working awful hard. Awful hard, Big Pod.
Really?
Yes. And they found that there's a couple users that were trying to use Gemini to spill the beans on Gemini.
Yeah. So, what they want to do is they want to do something called a model extraction attack. So, model extraction attack is essentially a distillation attack, which are types of attacks where you want to get as much training information out of the model as you can, so you can then teach your model and distill your model down to what is the best possible model. I don't know. This might actually be something else entirely that's actually happening, and might just look like a distillation or model extraction event.
It very well could be, but Google says that it's currently an ongoing thing. At least at the time that we're recording this, we're recording this on February 12th, so it might be subject to change by the time you actually get the episode and look through it. So, I guess we'll have to see if Google decides to let them keep doing what they're doing, and then use that as justification to build another data center in like the middle of rural America or something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in other news, because we are secretly a security podcast, there is yet another WordPress exploit.
Yep.
But it's not really WordPress, it's another plugin. Because heaven forbid, it's always the plugin's fault.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the big problem with WordPress, is the fact that if you want to use it, you have to use many plugins to even be able to use it relatively well.
Well, to make it a nice experience. You can use
Yeah.
WordPress without the plugins, technically.
Again, as I said, relatively well.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this plugin is called the WPvivid Backup and Migration. And this is basically just like a plugin that automates backups for your WordPress instance. Because it turns out that backing up WordPress is kind of a pain in the butt because it puts everything into like this database and some people just don't know how to manage that. Actually, a lot of people don't know how to manage a database.
Yeah.
I'm just one of them. But anyways, they noticed that this bug bug can lead to a complete website takeover because WordPress being WordPress.
Yeah.
But there's a catch.
A remote code execution, don't forget that, because you can upload arbitrary files without authentication, which means you can install a web shell, and that gives you basically any kind of code you want on that server.
Yeah, but there's a catch to this bug. Whoever configures this plugin has to use a non-default receive backup from another site option. And that when you enable that option, it gives you a key that's valid for only 24 hours.
Yeah.
So there's two things that somebody might need to do to be vulnerable to this. First of all, they need to leak that key, or they need to toggle that option.
Also,
and
let's
you
be
have
clear, this can also be very easy to exploit if somebody has, for example, access to admin dashboard, but not the actual like anything useful on like the server or the website itself.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, Bleeping Computer has like a complete write up on this exploit and how it actually works. So I got that linked in the show notes. It is CVE 2026-1357. If you need to Google, if you need to look it up.
And it's a 9.8 severity.
Yep, 9.8 severity, and it affects all versions of the plugin at the time of recording, up to the current version, which is 09123.
Yeah.
And there has been no fix for it available yet.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. But of course, in the event you want to know, it's just using standard RSA encryption as well.
Of course.
For extra things.
Of course.
Now, moving on to slightly better news, or shaky news, depending on how you want to see it.
Yeah.
It turns out that, Amazon apparently has a Starlink competitor.
Of course. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, it turns out that a lot of people didn't know about that. But Amazon Leo, or what was it formerly called?
Kuiper.
Kuiper.
Amazon
Yeah.
Kuiper.
Yeah. Well, it's Amazon Leo now, and it's been in like small scale trials for a while now.
Yeah.
And it just got approval to launch more low orbit satellites to put more junk in our skies. Because, heaven forbid, we apparently need that.
Yeah, but remember, there's not a lot of things up there, if we're honest. About not more than 20,000, about 15,000
Yeah.
in all of the Earth orbit.
Yeah, that's true. They just did a launch that you watched today. I
Yeah.
know that much.
The
To
it was the first launch of Ariane 6. Now that's a new rocket that Ariane Space, French rocket company, created, and apparently the first launch, from what I understood, it was the first launch, was Amazon Leo EU1.
Yep.
That's what it's called.
But yeah, and we even have a time frame for these launches. They have until 2035 to get all the approved satellites up in orbit before they're technically out of time to offer internet services. But they're coming. Of course,
Yeah.
they're blaming it's already technically been delayed because apparently not only is there a shortage of memory chips, but there's also apparently a shortage of rockets.
Of course. Let me correct myself. This was the first launch of the specific configuration, but I don't remember ever seeing a launch of Ariane 6. So I don't know when did they launch any other configuration. This was launch of configuration 4. So Ariane Space Ariane 64 or 64, which has the 4 solid rocket boosters, which is its most powerful configuration, also most powerful rocket in European history. And they are currently apparently Amazon's much needed ride to space.
Well, at least one of them, because they're probably going to be working with several companies to be able to get this many satellites launched,
including SpaceX, their competitor in the space of Earth, of space-based internet.
Yep. Because even SpaceX, or Starlink, or Musk, they see that a little bit of competition is a good thing because it at least keeps the Sherman Act away.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to some bad news here. I made an attempt today because I had a little bit of extra spending money. I opened up my Steam client. In the search bar, I just typed in Steam Deck and I went to go attempt to buy one.
Oh, what happened?
It's out of stock.
Really?
Yeah.
All the models,
Every single model,
even the refurbished,
even the
ones.
refurbished.
Oh wow.
So I open up Amazon to see if it was available there. Not even listed.
Wow.
So then I go to Newegg, and I type in Steam Deck. Now, the Newegg store page, from the search, listed a price. Did not say that was sold out. So now, one thing I noticed about that price is that was about $100 higher.
Huh.
So I click on it. I'm not gonna pay for a Steam Deck at this price, right?
Yeah.
It's out of stock.
Well, Josh.
Yeah.
In my region, Steam Deck OLED 512 is available at 569 euros.
Well, maybe you should buy that while you still can, because apparently this is happening in Japan as well.
I'm not really into Steam Deck. I don't see a reason for me to have it.
That's true, but we might have a listener or two that's kind of curious on this device. But this led us towards like checking a couple different vendors, like what's the price of general computers overall, and they seem okay. Like
Yeah,
I haven't seen like new model computers looking absurdly expensive,
yeah. I
but
think that is because a lot of these companies still have old stock of RAM.
that's entirely possible. Or just old stock of built computers.
Yes, also that. Also possibly old stock of purchased RAM that wasn't delivered at the time of a apocalypse starting.
Yeah, I expect that to start changing at some point.
Yeah. So maybe buy a computer soon. If you
Maybe.
and think about buying more of pre-builds than actual like not pre-builds.
Or buy secondhand.
Yeah. Secondhand seems pretty good in pricing. At least when we were looking at the like small form factor and servers.
Yeah, that said, servers. If you're intending to buy a server just to work for a gaming computer, it's probably cheaper. Buy the computer.
Yeah, don't buy a server for a gaming computer.
Believe it or not, a desktop consumer CPU is better for your video games than a server CPU.
Exactly, yes.
Mostly because that consumer CPU has a higher clock speed.
That's one of the reasons why, yes.
I
Also,
mean,
also the power supply is like you're actually like using more power than you would on a gaming CPU. And in general, like you need to somehow stick a GPU in it.
that too. A lot of server CPUs just don't even have built-in graphics.
Yeah.
So
So I actually was looking at a couple of servers, but none of them were for up to my taste.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, I figure Big Pod, we can talk about like a couple of the Steam Deck alternatives that exist on the market.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, not every single one of these runs like a op, Linux distribution as their operating system of choice, except
Of
for
course.
there is one, the Lenovo Legion Go S. It does run SteamOS. It is available. It's like $699, which means it's functionally 700, but
Yeah.
you can get it.
And also, it's good to remember that many of these are actually at least partially supported by Bazite.
That's true. And most of these handhelds are x86 systems, so it's possible
Yes.
just to install Bazite on them.
Yeah.
Now, there are three big ones. We have the Lenovo one that I mentioned. ASUS also has the ROG Ally, which
Yeah.
is arguably the most powerful one on the market.
And I believe it has a like a even more powerful version called LIX. Or is
Yeah.
that then the next generation one that will?
That might be the one that's not out yet.
Yeah.
I,
Also
I'm not.
possible.
I'm not really super aware of this market.
Yeah,
to be honest
me
with you.
neither.
And then we have, the company that basically started the whole mobile x86 trend, Ayaneo.
I would say before that there was GPD, but they weren't really known.
Well, this was the one that caught like the YouTuber
Yeah.
recognition,
This was
which
the one that's like really like got it going.
yeah. Now, this is the cheapest one, the Ayaneo Air Plus. It is the cheapest one on the market. It's cheaper than even the Steam Deck,
Yeah.
but it is performance comparable with the Steam Deck, except that that Windows operating system is a lot heavier than SteamOS, so it probably performs a little bit
Yeah.
worse on your video games. But if you're buying at this price point, maybe the Steam, maybe the whole idea of running Steam is not all that appealing to you, because this is also the market that the Nintendo Switch is built into.
Yeah.
Both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 exist here. Obviously, the Switch 2 is probably definitely worth the money over the Switch 1, because the Switch 1 is really, really old.
Yep.
But you're in that market, and the Nintendo game catalog is not it's not bad. It's just a little pricey.
Yeah.
So you can go that. Obviously, if you're wanting to build a gaming computer, you missed the boat on like the price, the price availability. But
Exactly.
you can still get the parts to build them. And honestly, most of the time, as if you have an existing computer that's basically like 2019 and newer,
Yeah.
realistically, you might just only need to buy a GPU and
Yeah.
just slap it into the computer. Make sure that your power supply is up to spec for it, and you should just be able to launch your game and go. And
Exactly.
not and realistically, it's not like you're gaming natively at 4K in the majority of your titles. You might be dealing with that upscaling technology, the XeSS. I forget what Nvidia calls it, as well as AMD calls it. I know Intel calls it XeSS.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know. I don't turn on those.
Yeah, but it. I prefer to play the games at the native resolution if I can. That said,
Same.
though, all my monitors are 1080p, so it's not like I'm really pushing for 4K anyway. Because I'm still a little cheap when it comes to monitors. Although sometimes I've been debating lately if I want to drop my triple screen system for just two bigger monitors. Go from like these 24 inches that I have right now to like 27 inches and probably like 1440p resolution. I've been thinking about making that switch.
Really.
Yeah, just been thinking about it. And of course, if you would like to help fund TuxSpace, so I could spend TuxSpace money on my own personal desktop setup, which I could justify as a business expense because I record this using my personal desktop. Uh, you can go to patreon.com/notuxallowed and drop us money there. In exchange, we will give you a special sauce RSS feed that almost had bonus content uploaded to it this week. Almost.
Really.
Almost.
Almost.
Except the reason why I had to install this distro yesterday was because I accidentally RM'd my home directory.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that was a thing.
Wow. Now it'll be still able to do this.
I will in fact still be able to do this. Yes.
Don't worry. You'll still be
Uh,
able to.
Probably. We'll find out how long I last. That's really the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Because it could just be as easy as some package maintainer built the package wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Like it's not a solution for him to build, for him to fork it and build it himself. No, he will go and just replace his system with different one.
I would just, and all roads eventually lead back to Gen 2, where I can just actually just do that myself easily. Because it's just a use flag.
Like he cannot just click a fork button or copy paste shit.
I could hit the fork button, but then I risk actually becoming a package maintainer.
Well, yes, for you. You don't have to maintain it for everybody else.
That's the problem. I will want to offer it to other people because it goes like, "Hey, I fixed this thing. It supports this feature that advertises now. You should use my copy. Screw the professionally maintained one."
Then, you have a company. Hire a
That's
maintainer
true.
for yourself.
That's true. That's true.
Or a contract one.
And we even have a company server that I can just spin up my repository on.
Yes.
And
Yes.
thankfully, somebody posted a video recently on his YouTube channel, which is linked in the description, about how to make a repository for Arch Linux. Because the one that I always joke about making a repository for is Arch Linux.
Yeah, that one's pretty simple.
Yeah. I
Really?
imagine it's not difficult.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
I've done bunch of videos on that topic. I should probably do others as well. At one point, I need to put it on a list of things to do.
I could be interested in an RPM repository because heaven forbid they're all done the same way.
That one is also very easy. There
Yeah.
should be a better way to do all of them. I've been trying to write one, but I just get lazy and don't want to do it at the same time as my job.
That's true. That's true. That said, if you'd like to contact us, send us an email. contact@tuxspace.com. It works because BigPod gets annoyed every single time I open up the Nextcloud desktop application. And then, of course, if you would like to talk to each other, we do have a Discord available at tuxspace.com/Discord. Because what's the point in paying for Nitro to get a permanent link to get a permanent link of discord.gg/tuxspace
When you have your own domain.
Yeah, when we have our own domain with our own Nginx server that we can configure on ourselves and break ourselves, because we've totally done that before.
Yes.
Yep.
But then we fixed it ourselves.
That's true. We fixed it faster than somebody else probably would.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's it for the show, I guess.
Goodbye.